Hey, Noni and Chase. I wanted to make a quick video for you because I know the way we're going to be doing things on the 19th tomorrow and the 20th Tuesday to begin the school year will be different than how we'll do things for the rest of the year. I've tried to write out out getting super detailed how you're going to help us kind of route and navigate students. So I want to share my screen and get into a small write-up on this process. I figured talking it out would be easier. So Noni and Chase. So I've got a table out in the hall, a round table where I've got a surge protect or a plug strip. Both of you can have your laptops and you can sit side by side. So we'll start with this one. Sit at the round table in the hallway with laptops open to the main spreadsheet and also having a tab with the Google Drive open. So you're there. When students come up the steps or off the elevator, ask current students with a plan to sign in on the standard book. That's the book kind of right catty corner from Erica and go into the classroom. So, hey, good morning. Are you a student that has a plan? If they say yes, wonderful. Great to see you back. Can you sign in for me? Point to the standard book and then have them head into the classroom. Okay, ask new enrollees or students that have not completed the enrollment process to get in line, okay, or to line up. Basically, we're going to point them to line up one by one down the hallway towards Suite 206. Not to go to 206, but just line up out of the way of the opening elevator, out of the way of the stairwell. Don't go to 206, but line up. They may sit in the table or at the chairs by the things that we're usually going to be using as enrollment tables or sit on the couch, but they need to line up kind of in order that they came in so we can serve them. It's important that we're not doing the enrollment paperwork where we usually do it, so it's fine for them to sit there as long as they kind of stay in an orderly line that's based upon when they came in. So that's the lineup part. Students are then called from the line in groups of two. One will see you, Noni, and the other person will see you, Chase. Students then sign in on a new enrollee paper sheet. So there's a spreadsheet that you can or have the student sign in because they're new. We'll keep them out of the traffic flow of the students that exist and where they sign in. Again, just that's a Monday, Tuesday thing. That's not the usual order of business. Once they've signed in, ask the student, how can I help you? Are you a brand new student or have you started the enrollment process? Wait for their response. Once they respond, if they're a brand new student, still attempt to look for their name in the spreadsheet under the enrollment status tab. Okay, some people say, yeah, I've never been here, but for whatever reason, they were proactive and had a transcript sent to us, and we still have some note of them in the spreadsheet. Okay, so just look them up. If you see something, there's a process for that we'll get to later, but just still look them up to see. Okay, so you look them up in the spreadsheet. If nothing's found, they will be taken. You will take them. They will be taken to Suite 206 to start the intake paperwork. I've got a table down in Suite 206 that is specifically designated for the enrollment and CTE form, okay? You will walk them down there. As you're walking them out down there, tell the other students in line that you'll be right back, that they can just sit tight and, to please hold their current position, okay? So you're walking down, you both can do this together, however the flow of traffic happens. Walk that new student down to 206 and explain the intake form. Explain, some people don't know that they need to fill it out like with a specific name on their driver's license. Some people have questions about the CTE. Go over without being crazy detailed how you fill out that paperwork, okay? Also explain to them that you'll be checking in, every 20 minutes. And if they have any questions, they can certainly ask when you come down, but be thorough enough where they shouldn't have any questions. Okay. So you've taken them to 206, you've explained, how the paperwork works. Then the student needs to be told to get back in line when they complete the intake forms and have their mandatory documents ready. Also explain to them what the mandatory documents are. Don't make copies at that point. Have them fill out the paperwork and have those documents ready and get back into line once they're done with the form and they've got their documents ready. Okay. After that, when the student completes the intake form and brings you the mandatory documents, please fill out the mandatory documents form. This is the form of what they've actually brought to you, and put a date by. If they brought in a social security card, give it the 8/19 or 8/20, whatever the date is, right on that sideline. And after you've kind of noted what they have, go ahead and make copies and then come sit back down. I have I have hanging file folders, tabs, and a label maker at your desk. Go ahead and make them a folder with all the stuff in that they brought. And again, sign that mandatory doc form, essentially checking down what they brought in. And I will do a demo of this because I know that that's a little hard maybe to picture in your mind, okay? So then you put the little name tag on the student's folder. After that, if the student is incomplete, copy their mandatory document sheet that shows what they're missing and highlight what they need to bring in on their next visit. If they're complete, please bring them back to Suite 206, or at least tell them they'll need to go back to 206, but before they walk down there, explain to them that they must finish, and I'm being emphatic because they must finish both learning evaluations. Explain to them that it takes some people 45 minutes, it takes others maybe 90 minutes. They need to finish both the math and reading section. They're not hard. They may stop when they feel like they're getting to their kind of stop point with their knowledge for the moment, but explain to them that they'll need to go back to 206 with you and do these evals, explain the time, make sure they can finish both. Okay, if the student does not have time to complete the learning evaluations, they are incomplete. Kindly hold their folder until day's end. I have a bin right behind that round table where you all are sitting. Simply place that in there. No need to take a note or do anything further. Just put the folder with all the documents in the mandatory documents sheet on the cover of that folder with what they're missing. Obviously, it would be learning evals in that situation. Okay, you'll just simply put it in there, and then you'll go to the next student. If the student is able to stay for both the learning evaluations, please bring their folder into Kate after you've walked them down and explain the learning evaluation. So walk them down, walk with their folder in your hands, go to 206 with them again, okay? Explain how the test works and how they can use the calculator and they shouldn't look up anything, etc. Do that, and then walk to central office before calling another person and give that complete or soon to be complete folder to Kate. Once the student completes both evaluations, ask them to line up again. I know they're lining up again, but this will most certainly maintain better order than them just randomly popping up to you. I'm going to demo this next part that I'm going to tell you. When they line up again, they'll have their learning evals in hand. Okay? Place them in QMinder. Place them in QMinder. Take the learning evaluations from them. And I'm sorry, this step, I'll try to write this in before I send this to you. Make sure that when they bring the learning evaluations to you, and I know this is not how we're going to do things moving forward, but for tomorrow, score the learning evaluations with ZipGrade, write out their scores on the score sheet, stick them in the paper folder. Once that's happened, not put them in the paper folder because that's with Kate. Score the learning evaluations, put them on the learning evaluation score sheet, pair that with the evals, ask the students to take a seat in my office put their name in QMinder, and then walk the learning evaluations back to Kate and give those to her. I will add that into the note. That is not there. But the idea is to take the learning evaluations, have them stay there with you, grade them on the spot, put the grade onto the learning evaluation score sheet, ask them to take a seat in my office, add them to QMinder, and then bring back the learning evals in the score sheet to Kate. Okay? We will then call them on QMinder when either Pam or my mom's ready to see them. Okay? But again, when they come back and they're finished with the learning evals, take the evals from them, score the evals, ask them to sit back in my office. There's a waiting area, like kind of a lounge that we've made back there. Give that scored learning eval sheet as well as both learning evals to Kate. Then we let them know. We'll call them via, we'll call them via QMinder when we're ready to see them. Okay. I hope that makes sense. We will certainly cover that step more thoroughly, and I'll write it in here as part of the notes. And then finally, another situation that could happen, another situation could happen where the student is has partially enrolled before. If a student kind of steps up in line, if the student's name is in the enrollment status spreadsheet, place them in QMinder and ask them to sit back in my office area, okay, and wait to be called via QMinder. Definitely do this, even if you see the student can sit class. I know the kind of basic, simple reaction would be like, well, yeah, they should just go into the classroom. No, don't do that, because some people haven't had their plan explained to them. It was made over the summer. They've never sat with Miss V or my mom. Have them see us still, okay? Put them in QMinder, ask them to have a seat back in my office, whether it says they can't sit class, they can sit class, missing docs or not, have them sit back in my office, and again, we'll call them when we're ready for them, and we'll figure out what they need to do still, whether they're very incomplete or they just need their plan printed out and explained to them. Okay, we got it. If they've taken their time to wait in line, and you see them again in the spreadsheet, in the enrollment status spreadsheet, ask them to wait back in my office, put them in QMinder, and then we'll call them and figure out that situation. Okay, these are the basic scenarios that will happen. Yes, we'll probably have something that's not on here happen, but in general, please execute these procedures, okay? I don't mean to be too kind of linear with this, but we need to be operationally tight on day 1 and 2 especially. I think things will simmer down and we'll go to standard operating procedures beginning Wednesday, but we still may need to do this Wednesday. So I'm prepared to have everybody do this type of workflow Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday if we need to, but I'm optimistic on Wednesday we can go to business as usual. So that's that. I'm going to stop sharing my screen at this point. Hopefully that was very helpful, and I really look forward to seeing everybody tomorrow. Thanks.